Hello everybody, welcome back. I will be showing you how I sew and darn my point shoes. I'm going to show you everything that I use to sew my point shoes. My 6'5" medium shank Katias from elastic. I use a elastic ribbon, a white or pink thread, and some needles. I use bigger needles because I can work with them better. Scissors, a pen, a lighter, and this crochet darning thread. I already darned one of these shoes. This is what the darning looks like. First things first, placing the elastics and the ribbons. The best way to do it is folding it down like this and then marking where it creases right here. You would just take a pen and you see inside you have the little marks. Measure my elastics. I do crisscross elastics, so I take my elastic, I cut it first in half, and then again. This will still be just a little bit too long, but I end up measuring it later. I burn the ends of my elastics, so that they don't fray. I'm gonna go burn them in a room where the fan isn't on. I burned just one end of each of the elastics, but this just ensures that there's no fraying. I take my needle, I take my thread, put it through, I line them up. This is how I create my knots. I hold on pretty close to the top, wrap it around my fingers, pull, and thread it through the bottom. And I usually do that 3 or 4 times to make sure that the knot is thick enough so that it doesn't just go straight through the shoe. We have the back of the shoe here, and I usually from here, and then I go about like 1 over, so like right around here. I sew my bottom elastic on the outside of the shoe, and then I start on the outside, so straight through. Okay, I basically just sew until I think it's really secure, so I pull on it and I feel like it can stay. How I end the thread, and I make sure that it's on the inside of the shoe. I thread it through here and I pull it almost all the way through, and then make sure that there's a little loop, and I go from the bottom of the loop and pull through, and it creates like a knot. And then make sure that this is secure. I'm going to go through and do that same thing again the opposite way, so it creates like a little X. And then from there I just cut it and it stays. I am going to do the same thing to the other side. Next, I'm going to show you how I measure the elastics to my ankle. First, I take the elastic and I pull it over to where that black mark is. So if the black mark is here, I take it and put it in front of it. And then I pinch right where it goes past the seam, and I cut right there. And then I go one more time to make sure that this tightness is good. Black mark here. Round right there. Now I'm going to burn these edges as well. Now I'm going to take my elastic. This is for 1 point shoe. I split this in half, and it's usually like the perfect length. I place this right on the edge of the black mark, right there. I stick the elastic right where I know it's going to be tight enough. It should look like this. It's one on top of the other, and I just start sewing across until I feel like it's secure. So now I'm going to measure the length of elastic ribbon. In order to measure this, we go 1 time over the ankle, 1 time around the ankle, and crisscrossing in front. See, it is just a little bit too long right here. Now I'm going to go burn this ribbon and then sew it, and then we're done with sewing the shoe. Okay, now we're moving on to darning. Because I have these suede tip point shoes, I only go around it, and I start at around here and I end it at around here. First, I take a much thicker needle. This is able to go through without breaking quite a bit of darning thread. So the same way I do with regular thread. I match it up, and instead of doing a knot several times, I am able to do just one. I cut it pretty close. I just burn this end to keep that knot in place. I start right here and go all the way until right there. Put the needle in, and I pull this first one all the way through. If I'm having a problem pulling the needle through, is to take a TheraBand and pulling it through. For the rest of the knots around the shoe, I create a little bit of space because I go a second time through and go in between each of these stitches. I push the needle through, and just like how we end all of our regular knots, I pull it pretty close, and then from the bottom, I go through and I pull the knot, and it should look like that. I do that with the same amount of space all the way around the shoe. And from underneath, pull the thread through, pull it tight, and it should look like that. I'm going to do that all the way around the shoe, and I'm going to show you how I end it here, and I'm going to go another time around. Okay, now I am finishing this off, and I am going to spot like here, and I'm going to double knot it. And then I'm going to cut it a little bit closer, burn it. Now I'm going to go one time around again and go in between each of these stitches. Okay, so as I was recording this time lapse, my phone ran out of storage. You do each of these stitches on the second round in between your original stitches. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments, and thank you so much.